We don't have to sit through the entire introduction.
Why wait?
Why wait? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Homewrecker Podcast. I am the Golden Greek Alex Area, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife, Monique.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
And this week we have a special guest. Who's with us this week, Monique?
It's our friend.
Yay.
We have friends. Can you believe it?
I know. Crazy.
This is our pal, Jamie Jamitkowski. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome.
It's so fun being here now because I think the best part is for my introduction. There was no title to give me after. It's like, and here's our friend, Jamie.
Is our pal
He's a
Jamie?
good friend.
No.
He's here.
Yay.
Former owner of Chaotic Wrestling.
Long,
There you go.
ancient now.
Yes.
But I love that you still introduce yourself as the Golden Greek. That makes me very happy.
You like that, don't you?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
That's good. Thank you.
But I'm glad I finally got on your podcast. We've been talking about it forever.
I
Yeah.
think it's like before we even started the show, you were like the first guest we wanted to get
right,
on.
Right. But you had to figure out how this thing worked, and I've been very busy. Not at all. I've just been literally sitting by. Are they going to call? When are they going to call? But they called. Very excited.
Well, you can always call us. The phone works both ways.
No, mine doesn't. My wife cut down my plan. I can only have incoming now. It's really
Now you
sad.
know why.
Yeah.
Now
All
you know
right,
why.
now we know.
That's why.
No,
Knowing's half the battle.
But I was saying, I love your podcast. I think you guys, Al, and I've known you forever. And like, I remembered you in the wrestling ring when you were, the Golden Greek, Alex Aaron, that guy. And Monique, you've always had just an effervescent personality. But I love listening to you guys because you guys are like so chill. Al, you have like one of the most relaxing voices.
Really?
What you should, the next stage of your career,
Yeah.
I think like Matthew McConaughey did this. He like records like reading stories for people to fall asleep to. That's what you should do. I think you have the most relaxing, chill voice.
Oh, well, thank you
There we
very
go.
much. All right.
Yeah.
Like I can't listen to Al when I drive because I doze off because of delivery, not topic. Delivery, never
Right.
ever topic.
Are you calling him a snooze fest?
No, I'm saying he's very relaxing. Now I know
Take
why
it
you fell
down.
for him. He's got that sultry, calming voice. It's like David Allen Boucher when he used to do bedtime magic. That's your kind of voice.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You just reminded me about when you told me for the first time a few years back, when you first met me, what
Oh,
you
yeah.
thought. I think you should share that because
So,
it's pretty funny.
This was back when I owned the Chaotic Training Center, the largest and most successful pro wrestling school in New England for quite a while. No offense, Al. But, so, like, dude, I don't know why I find enjoying that 15 years later, take little digs at you guys, but it's fun for me. But, so I remember I was like this, it must have been a Tuesday or Thursday night when you first came in, and I kind of came in, everybody was in the training room, and all of a sudden this lovely young lady walks up to me, introduces herself, and she's like, hi, I'm Monique. And I thought...
You made me sound like the gingerbread man from Shrek.
Well, no, you sounded like Minnie Mouse. And I swear, on a stack of Bibles, I made her, hi, how are you? And I grabbed somebody, I'm like, all right, who's the chicken? Who's ribbing me? I thought she was doing like a fake giggly voice until after I got to know you. No, that was that's your real voice. And it was just, you were just running like Minnie Mouse. Yeah. Like,
The more
you're like
children I have, the deeper my voice has gotten.
your voice has definitely
Yes.
dropped a little bit
But-
because you need that authoritative mom
Yes,
voice now.
I
You-
do.
You drop it down.
I had to drop it down. But it's funny because when I was going to school for criminal justice, I was going to UMass Lowell, and one of my teachers there would not let me answer anything unless I spoke in a deeper voice. So I'd raise my hand and I'd be like, the reason why we do this is because, and then he'd just stop
There's
and
the voice.
shake his head, and I'd be like, the reason why we do this is because, I'd have to
Yeah.
really drop my voice, and it was very uncomfortable.
I bet.
But I think over so many years of trying to not sound like a little 5-year-old girl, because I used to have people call and be like, hi, is your daddy home? And I'd be like, I'm in my 20s.
That's a whole other career you could have had. You could have done like a phone line for really creepy people.
Did you almost spit on your drink?
Great.
The cave is closed.
Oh, see, and this is why I don't get invited on podcasts. No matter what, like they always call it the topic. Like within 3 minutes, we're just derailed.
Whatever.
But-
That's
It's
all
our
good.
show. We can do whatever we want.
It's all good.
But no, I remember. I thought, like you said, you sound like an animaniac, and I thought it was a ram.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. Do you realize that we wouldn't be together if it wasn't for you?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I take
Yeah, thank you.
that was one of my big things in my big chaotic wrestling farewell speeches. I think the best thing that I got to see over all those years was I got to see like chaotic marriages. We got to see like some little chaotic babies be born. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because I was just thinking back when Alex and I got married, we went and got married in the Bahamas, but then we had a reception.
Yes.
And Jamie is just so awesome. He's just the man. And we get our cake and we cut our cake. And then he goes and steps up and starts, like, once we did our cutting of the cake at the family reception, he starts, like, doing it so he can get all the slices of cake for everybody, just helping us out, just kind of stepping in the role and getting shit done.
I appreciate you remembering it that way. The real story is, remember, I have a master's in hospitality, and like I used to work for food and beverage, and a lot of my background used to be in like catering, and that was, yes, it was partially me being nice, and I really did want you guys to enjoy your day, but like when I'm at events like that, and I see like a cake that needs to be cut, and there's nobody there doing it, there's something that like snaps in my brain, where I have this obsession of, okay, I'm going to do it. And the worst part would have been like, if one of your aunts had like come over and tried to help me, she would have thought I was the biggest a-hole. Because I would have been like, you know what, honey? Why don't you just go back in the other room and let me take, because I get very possessive now, because now I'm like, all right, look, I'm in restaurant manager mode. Let me cut the cake. I have a certain plan of how I'm going to do this. But now I remember doing it.
Do you remember that I was trying to do it, and you're like, oh, honey, let me help you.
Probably exactly what I just said.
And I was just thinking, like, it's obvious I suck at this, so I'm going to take the help, because usually I'm just like, I don't care how bad I fuck it up. I'm going to do it.
There's a story from ages ago where I had a girlfriend from, and she was in Pennsylvania. We drove back to see her family. And it was like her aunt and uncle's 30th, 40th anniversary, having a big thing. And they'd hired caterers, but there was a miscommunication. So they thought the caterers were going to stay. And so what they did was they just dropped all the trays and said, aloha means goodbye. So I remember, like, when that morning I came back, like, the house is just, the aunt's in hysterics, the uncle's screaming on a phone. And I'm like, what's going on? They said, well, the caterers just dropped the food and left. What are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And, like, her sister, her cousin, like, worked in a bar and a restaurant. And I said to her, I'm like, Jen, do me a favor. Get on the phone. Do you have any friends that work with who will get their asses over here for $50? I'll pay them out of my pocket. And I said to them, I'm like, hey, remember, that's what I do. Let me do it. So long story short, I got these people helping me. We're slamming food in and out. And, like, somewhere along the way, like, my girlfriend's, like, relatives were coming in big. Excuse me, we're running a little low on the canapes. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am, they're in the oven. But now, so great. So now everything kind of wraps up. There's supposed to be people lingering. Well, now my girlfriend and I were leaving. We were driving back up to school. So we took off. I guess the big chatter, like in the family, among some of the family friends after, was that my girlfriend Terry left with the caterer that day. They didn't realize we were together. They thought I was actually just the caterer and that awesome. Terry was just a hussy who left with the caterer for the night. So yeah. So I've done that many a time.
Wow.
Awesome.
That
Good
is
stuff.
tremendous.
Anyway.
That's great.
So again, if you're ever having a family function, like invite me.
And
just say,
over.
Yeah, Jamie, I'd like to invite you if you could just wear black slacks and a white shirt, just in case.
Yep.
And then all you have to do is like be slightly incompetent with something in the kitchen. Within 3 minutes, you'll be out sipping wine on the back deck with everybody, and I'll be in the kitchen hustling food for you.
But see,
All right.
I can't do that, because like when I cook, I make everything with love.
Yeah.
So it's like, nope, I need to do it. Like, get out of my way.
You can make it with love, but let me serve it with
There we go.
passion. All right.
There we go.
I'll serve
make
There we go.
it. It was funny because I was going to make lamb for you today. I do my red and lamb with
Yep.
rice,
Ooh.
and I was going to do it, but I'm like, by the time he gets here, it's going to be late because we're doing it at night after the kiddos have gone to bed. So I was kind of sad because I wanted to cook for you.
Next time, I will always let you cook for me. Thank you. And you should come down to our house too. And
Absolutely.
I cook a lot now, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
We'll have another cooking show.
Okay.
Well,
So, do you want to get into why we're here?
let's do it. Go ahead. You look like you're about to, so go for it.
Okay. We're talking about superstitions and family superstitions.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie actually brought up this topic,
Yeah.
which is a really good one.
Yeah.
What made you think of this?
Well, because when we were all talking about what was I going to come on, and the running joke has been for like last 4 or 5 years. It's 4 years now. Like all I've done is podcasts about wrestling.
Yeah.
Where I talk about wrestling, and like I remember when I went on the Chaotic Wrestling farewell tour. Like I'd never done an interview in 18 years, and then I did like 20 in 6 months. And like even by the end, I'm like, God, I'm sick of my own stories. So we started talking, and I'm like, yeah, we don't want to talk wrestling. Like, what else are we going to talk about? Okay, I collect comic books. I'm like, I personally hate when you listen to unless it's a podcast where, like, if you do a podcast about Batman or comic books, and you're doing it as a Batman fan or a comic book fan, or a wrestling podcast as a wrestling fan, great. I always hate it when you have people who are fans who then go on and do podcasts, where now all of a sudden they feel like they're knowledgeable. It's like, no, stop it. So we just started talking about it, and the one weird connection that really started with Al and I way back when is we would always, like, probably call each other way back when, on Greek Easter.
Yeah.
Because on my mother's side of my family, my mother is half Italian and half Greek. So growing up, my core family, my mom, my dad, and I, am an only, we would all celebrate Easter. But the big celebration would always be Greek Easter. And I would assume somewhere along the way out at a wrestling show, we started talking about, with the lamb on the spit and all that stuff, and spanakopita and all that. So we started talking about that. And then we were trying to think of topics. I'm like, well, wait a minute, I know there's one. Because that side of my family being Italian and Greek, batshit crazy when it comes to superstitions. Absolutely crazy.
Or maybe they're just knowledgeable.
There's a little bit of both. Those are not mutually exclusive. My family can be knowledgeable and batshit crazy all at the same time.
There it is.
And then ironically, like our best friends in the world, that my daughter's a senior in high school now, but our best friends.
Wait a minute, we're not your best friends?
I meant my best friends from my daughter's high school life. What happened was, the mom is Greek and the father's Italian. So like, I had my whole crazy family. Then we go hang out with our friends, and they've got all their crazy stuff. So I said, this is perfect. Because underratedly, I am like crazy superstitious when it comes to stuff. Crazy superstitious.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, Jamie, why don't you kick off? Tell us about some of your family superstitions.
My number one, and again, Al, I don't know if you do this, my wallet's in my pocket, but at all times, I have a red ribbon on me.
Really?
At all times. Do you know about this?
No.
Because red ribbons ward off the evil eye.
Really?
Yes. So at any time, hold on, I'm kind of stuck here because
I thought you were going to pull out the actual, charm, the blue,
No.
white.
No, we go crazy on this. But no, at any time, like if I dig, and I actually made sure it was in there, but like in the little corner pocket of my wallet, behind like all the money and all the credit cards, there's always just a little bit of a red ribbon.
Really?
Always tucked away for the evil eye.
Uh-huh.
And as I was going over this today, like I talked to Lois, our friend, and then I texted my mom and my two aunts. I said, hey, I'm doing this podcast on superstition saying, which ones are they? And all of a sudden my phone just blew up for the next hour and a half. But I started to realize like how many of them were based around like bad luck and evil eyes. Like it's like that's what we're worried about.
Yeah.
But no, I always carry red ribbon. That's probably the biggest one in my family. But now, so like if my daughter Nikki, when she competed in Miss Teen Massachusetts USA, we brought anything she wore, her gown, she had like 4 different costume changes, whatever you call them, and we have a seamstress. So, red ribbons into the lining of everything she wore because of the evil eye.
Wow.
I love it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love it.
Now, Monique, to your point, though, now my wife and my mother, Nikki may have, but she never wears it. They've actually graduated to, they actually have bracelets that, as you said, have the charm on it. I think it's blue and white, there's red. Yeah. But my whole family, if we're going to a function, if we're having a family something, if there's a dinner party, you'll all see us check off, and especially when we go visit my parents who don't live in New England. But if we're there and we're going to something all together, you'll hear us do the check down of all of us. Like, okay, does everybody have the red ribbons? This week I'm going to learn just how crazy I am and how well I hid this for 20 years. If you go to my car right now, you can go into my car, go into my glove compartment. There's a red Christmas ribbon in there and a pair of scissors. Just in case we're ever out and we're going somewhere. And somebody in my family says, oh, I don't have my red ribbon. They can go into the glove compartment, clip one, and tuck it somewhere on them. Monique's looking at me like...
This is awesome.
This is awesome.
I'm like, this is so cool because I'm really into crystals and everything in tarot. And I'm just like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love this.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard the red ribbon thing before.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Oh, no, my family. Addicted to... I mean, my daughter...
You know what we're getting you for Christmas.
Just a big roll of red ribbon, like go to Walmart or Costco. It's going to be like a 9-inch wheel of red ribbon. Just,
hey, that's it.
Yeah.
But no, when my daughter just turned 17, and she got her first car and we were deciding between two, I had her get the red one. Because, at that age, there's always jealousy and there's always, people who, evil eye. So if the whole car was red, that's extra protection.
Ah.
And this is just how my brain works. Like, I'm not, Red ribbons, big time.
All right.
Big time.
That's
Now,
awesome.
is that supposed to be? Is that just a family superstition, or is that? Like
Oh, it's out there. More people do it. I think my family is like especially crazy when it comes to it. Like that's ours. Like ours is like that's the one we've really hooked on to. But hold on, because I actually made notes today. So let me, on a related note,
Yes.
let me see if I can say this right. Do you know if I say to you, Scordeta Matiaza? Scordeta Matiaza.
Can I see that on paper?
I had to write it phonetically.
Okay.
It's Scordeta Matiaza.
Scordeta Mathiasa. I don't know. What
And this is my mother and my crazy aunt, so they probably had the pronunciation wrong.
What do they? What is
Garlic in your eye. Do you ever say garlic in your eye?
No.
Now, none of you all, well, I can actually hold this up with the camera too. I mean, oops, wrong button, hit that button. Oh, not that picture. We actually have on our refrigerator from my Greek grandmother before she passed away. She actually wrote down garlic in your eye in Greek for us to say. So you can just read that right there. It's my grandmother's handwriting, and we keep it on our fridge. Because if you're out and somebody gives you a false compliment, so you always look lovely, you were at a wedding recently that we ended up not being at, but if you have somebody walk up to you who you think says, oh my God, Monique, you look so beautiful, and you think they're being insincere, the first thing you do is you turn and you say, garlic in your eye. And what that does is it turns your insincerity back on them.
Okay. All right.
But that's a big Greek one. Like when we got married, my poor wife. Now my wife, she's like German, English, and Scottish. So they're like it's so boring, just right down the middle. She has like none of this stuff. And then she meets my batch of crazies. And as she's coming down, so now remember, so first of all, now she gets, my Aunt Chris owns Christina's Bridal in Andover. If you're looking for a bridal gown or any accessories, go to Christina's of Andover. It's christinasbridal.com.
We'll put the link in the show notes.
It's like she sponsors me or something, but she's sponsoring the Jamie Tour 2020. But like Cheryl bought her gown at Christina's, and Christine had red ribbon sewn into the gown, so it was hidden. But as Cheryl's walking down the aisle of the big church in Boston, all she hears is from the sides, all the people spitting on her.
Yeah.
For good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spitting on for good luck, that one I know.
Mhm.
That one, yeah. I mean,
Well, from what I understood, it's also to kind of ward off evil.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
it's kind of both, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the big thing. Like at weddings, christenings, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Always the tusu.
Yes.
It's like tusu borimu, like, good luck, my son,
Okay,
or my
yeah.
child, or my boy, or whatever. Yeah, that was always, like, for me growing up, I would always get that from my aunts, my
Mhm.
uncles, just random strangers that were at these events. And I
Right.
didn't know who they were, but my parents invited, tusu. And I'd be like,
Mhm.
hi. Like, I don't know what the heck was going on,
And when we got married, I was actually really excited at the reception because they're like, oh, they're going to spit on me. And like nobody did. I'm like, they must not like me.
And just for anybody listening, not actually like hawking loogies.
No,
out.
it's
it's
like
like
a
a sound.
It's like I said, you make that
Yeah, you
sound.
make the sound,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean, to this day, I do that sound. And
Yeah.
we do it
Yeah.
all the time. We feel between that and red ribbons. Now, that being said, I was actually talking to my Aunt Chris on the right up here because they need clarification on one of these family crazies. But, like, there are also certain people. There's one person whose name I don't mention out loud anymore because I'm convinced that person put the Malukis on me years ago. If they ever bring up their name, I always get sick. And then there's another person who they're not family, they're a friend of extended family. Anytime I see them at an event, bad luck hits my family.
Well, it's believed by many people that anytime there's negative energy, just thinking about it, making it conscious can bring it to you. So it could be that. And also if somebody is, if they are giving you the evil eye, if they hexed you, if they cursed you, whatever it is, part of it comes down to your belief. And if you're open to that belief, then you're going to be open to what happens.
Well, that was one of my big challenges coming in on the podcast tonight. Was it took me a good 2 days to separate my superstitions from just my straight up neuroses, because those are two very different things. Me wiping movie chairs down with Clorox wipes, that's not a superstition. That's just me being neurotic. And again, you all have known me for a while.
Yeah.
So I just want to go on record and say, with this whole COVID thing, and everybody with your Purell and your face masks and your Clorox wipes, I feel like you've all finally caught up to me. I mean, when did you all ever not see me with Purell?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Purell was my personal
You're
cologne.
Jamie.
I am,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And now you all know my pain. Welcome to my world. Sean Gorman and I, this
Do
is
you
how we
know,
live.
Before you came over, I literally wiped everything down
Yeah,
for
we kind of went
you.
through a deep.
I appreciate that, thank you.
I wanted to make sure everything, the kids touch something, I'm wiping it down because I wanted to make sure that you were comfortable
I
here.
appreciate that, but you know what? It's funny during this whole COVID thing, is I've actually been less neurotic during it. Because I feel like for the first time, like you just said, houses, cars, restaurants, they're all being cleaned up to what my standards have been forever. So I'm like, finally, it's like a world I can live in. A world that smells slightly of bleach and hand sanitizer.
Meanwhile, we're we sterilize everything. We're not going to be able to get immunities to anything because everything's so sterilized. We need to go play in the dirt and touch bacteria. And
No, my immunity is negative right now for all the years I've been, Sean Gorman and I, a good friend, he and I are equal germaphobes. Years ago, he and I were pricing out those big boy bubbles on Amazon. Because we just thought those would be nice to live in to keep everybody away.
That's what I mean by I go play in the dirt. I'm always digging in the dirt, picking up bugs and stuff.
Oh,
and
gosh, no.
touching animals, yeah.
See, but that stuff doesn't bother me. It's actually dirt animals don't bother. It's humans that gross me out. They're the ones that are sketchy.
This is true.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like nature, Gertie.
Do you have any crazy ones from your family?
So, my family doesn't really have any superstitions. We're French. And,
Okay.
yeah. So, but I have my own things. I knock on wood.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
So, I always, knock on wood. And if I can't find anything, I do it.
Yeah.
Just because I saw that and I saw people do that. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to do that.
No, knock on wood's a good one.
Yeah, I knock on wood. I'm weird because I use my crystals, and it's not really superstition, but I believe in energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's harmful energy, negative energy, there's positive energy, neutral energy, and it's kind of what you put out there is what you're going to bring in. So if you believe in something,
Sure.
you're going to allow that to be real for you.
Yep.
So I always try not to overthink things, but I definitely I have my things that I do. I have my little routines. So at night, I always do a protection spell. And it's just this little thing I do to protect our family and throughout the night and throughout the day to protect the children, to protect us, our home. I do my positive healing energy to people, my loved ones, anyone who I heard was sick or needed help or anything. I kind of do it's you're saying your prayers, but it's just my thing that I do. I have this little routine that I do. And it's it's funny because one night I fell asleep before I could remember to do it, and we had something sketchy happen outside our
Really?
house. Yes. I don't know if you saw when we walked in, I have a protection bag that I made, and it has a pentacle, and it has different herbs.
Yeah.
It has crystals in there, it has resins, it has oils, it's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And I did a spell, I have this whole thing that I do. And it's that keeps us safe, and I swear, it's because I have that up there, that's what kept us safe. Because the sketchy person outside didn't cause any harm to us. He stayed outside. But I was just the one night.
Oh, you're talking about
the dude, who came to our porch,
Yeah.
The one night that I fell asleep, but we were still protected.
Nice.
Yes. And
we had some guy, it was 3:30 in the morning?
something like that.
Just showed up, and we have one of
No,
those.
it was 1:30.
Oh, okay, whatever. It was late at night. He was asleep. And, this guy just showed up, and we have on the porch outside, we have those outdoor plugs.
Sure.
So we came and he plugged in something.
Some
on
kind
the
of
outside
battery
of our-
charger.
Yeah.
thing.
And so we got him on camera because we have one of those the Ring doorbells or whatever, but you can see the whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I got out there the next morning, what is this on our porch? And then we went back and looked at the camera and we saw this guy just showed up and called the police. They came and everything, and they said it was probably just a homeless guy who was just coming by to plug in his battery chargers for his phones and just took off and forgot him.
Or because you got up
okay.
and the light came on, that could have scared him off.
I
That's
guess, but
a
I didn't
possibility.
notice the stuff that was plugged in until
I didn't even notice it. I left for work.
Yeah,
I had no idea because
What
I
is
just
that?
go
Hang on.
straight.
What is
Now
that?
I know why you need security cameras with your powers of observation. I mean,
Yeah.
No, well, because I just go straight, so I wasn't turning my head to look at the porch. So I was just, because I back in, so I was just going straight ahead. But yeah, it was just funny because I was thinking, like, the one freaking night I forgot I fell asleep. And then that happens. But then I'm like, I have my protection bag, and it keeps me safe, and that's why we're okay. So I do kind of have my beliefs, and it's like, I believe, like, I'm protected because I believe that.
But it sounds like you have very positive superstitions, meaning you tend to surround yourself with positive energy, whereas my crazy family, as we go down the list, it's all about curses, bad luck, and how to avoid it. So I might have to take lessons from you.
Maybe, I'm all about the positive.
Maybe like using Carol, I can be a little bit more preventative and less reactionary. But no, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because you wrestled for a lot of years. Did you have superstitions?
Yeah.
Like, as a performer or as an athlete, what were yours?
So, for me, anytime I would go, get to the building, wherever we were, I would always have to go out and look at the ring. Like, I'd have to, get up and stand in it and everything, test the ropes out, make sure there weren't any holes in the ring. I'd always, for whatever reason, I'd always have to go around and lift up the apron and look under the ring, on every side of the ring. I always did that. And it was just something that I started doing just from the beginning.
Sure.
No reason. And then I just found myself always doing it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to break this thing that I'm doing. And I just always look under the ring, see what's under the ring, and just kind of, just to see, again, scope out the ring that I'm going to be falling in, make sure that there's nothing wrong with it, but also to see is there anything under there I can play with later in my match or whatever. And then the other thing that I would always do, without fail, I always have to kneel down and say just a quick little prayer to myself, I guess, or to whoever's listening, and just kind of, I would always thank, I remember exactly, it was, thank you for all the success you give me thus far, all the success that's come my way, please keep me and my opponent safe tonight, thank you, amen. And then I would, it was a quick little thing, but I did it every single time. Like, I had to do it.
Yeah.
There'd be times where I would be, like, getting ready to go out to the ring, and I forgot to do that, and I'd have to go back and go back and do it.
And that's why it took so long
and
for him
that's
to
why
come
a lot
out
of
all
times
the time.
it would take.
No, that was not why. You just like to torture Jamie Jamitkowski. How long can Marilyn Manson, personal Jesus, play before Al decides to grace us with his presence? But no, athletes. Now, were you ever an athlete, Monique?
Well, not really. I did track in high school, but I'm not really a runner, so I did shot put and discus.
I did track, but I'm not really a runner. Gee, you weren't successful. Can't imagine why.
Let me put it this way. If Jason Voorhees was chasing me in the woods, I'd either try to fight him or I'd climb a tree and hide, because I'm not running.
Okay. So that's good to know. So that's my rule of thumb, that if an axe murderer ever starts chasing us, my rule of thumb is I don't have to outrun the axe murderer, I just have to outrun you.
Just how about you fight him? How about you kick his ass?
Because athletes are probably the most superstitious people. I mean, I watched that documentary, the Michael Jordan one.
Oh, yes.
And again, all those guys. And I mean, there were baseball players you talk about who pitchers going to the mound, they won't step on the first base line, with whatever gear they wear. The famous stories are players who will either, Michael Jordan, he wore his North Carolina,
the shorts.
Yeah, the compression shorts underneath. And that was actually, if you remember.
Why you took the longer ones?
No, even better. Remember the movie Space Jam?
Yeah.
The entire movie Space Jam was based around the Toons had to break into his house to go get his North Carolina shorts.
That's right.
Yeah. It was all superstition.
I was going to say, isn't that why he wore the longer shorts, too, to go over those?
Yeah, to hide those. Yeah. But no, athletes are crazy. No, I even know, like, when I golf, if I'm having a really bad golf day, like, if the first half of golf is bad, I will do a wholesale change of everything I have that I can change on the course. I'll pull off tape, and I'll retape with different color. I change ball markers. I change, if I have a different brand of ball with me, I'll change I'll change everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just reminded me, the Red Sox, before they won the World Series, it was coming up to that. And I was watching, and every time I had this thing, it was like, I had to do certain things. I think, like, when they were up at bat, I had to leave the room because I left the room because I had to go get something. And then, like, they were winning, and I was like, oh no. And then I was in the room, and so I was like, every single time, World Series, they won. But I was convinced it's because I had to leave the room which sucks. So I'd like look in, but I was just like, I can't have them lose because of me.
No.
I can't jinx them.
If you want to talk about sports fan superstitions, I feel bad for my wife because once the season starts, Patriot season started, I will not buy a Patriot sweatshirt, T-shirt, hat, anything now that the season has started. I've bought some. I've worn them for 2 weeks, and I've thrown them out or given them away. Because when I've worn them, the team would lose or horrible things would happen. I have one T-shirt and sweatshirt that haven't been worn since the Patriots beat the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. Because as I was wearing them, it had the big round logo, and I remember I used to reach up into the sweatshirt, and when they needed luck, because clearly it was all controlled by me, I would rub the round logo.
Remember, it's your energy manifesting it.
I was just saying that whole time, and I remember saying, okay, you know what? Whatever power the shirt has, just give me this one. I will never ask for anything again.
Until the next game.
No, I said I will never ask for anything again. And that shirt and that sweatshirt up in the corner of my closet, they just sit there now. Because I used up all the good energy that night. I made a deal with the shirt and sweatshirt.
Awesome.
That I wouldn't tap the energy again.
Wow, that's amazing.
But like there was one game where I remember they were down and like I moved and I sat on a big ottoman. And they came back. Which now meant I had to sit on that stupid ottoman. Every time they would need to come back from a game, and it's not comfortable. I gotta tell you, like it was great when they needed like that quick 7-minute comeback in one game.
Right,
man, 45 minutes, it's like the back starts to hurt. But yeah,
it's amazing what it's. And again, I believe it's because you believe it. Like, and I don't mean you personally, but just in general. Like, if you believe something, you will manifest it. And it's kind of like that positive thinking, negative thinking.
Yeah.
You're always thinking something bad's going to happen. Well, something bad's going to happen. But if you're thinking that negativity, but you're protecting yourself, you know, you're wearing your red ribbon, and you have that I am protected, to which it protects you.
No, all right. So let me throw a few more. If this is my family crazy, or if this is ones you have heard, or maybe you've heard.
Sure.
What's a good one? St. Anthony's Prayer. Any of you know this one?
No.
If something is lost, okay, and truly lost something of value, not like something silly, like you can't find a pencil, go get another pencil. But like you lose your wedding ring, you lose an heirloom, you lose something, you lose your wallet. What you do is you close your eyes and you say 3 times, "Dear St. Anthony, please come around, something is lost that can't be found." Say it 3 times with your eyes closed, and you'll find whatever you're looking for.
Really?
Yeah.
Love it.
Now, if it doesn't work, now in my family, the funny part is, if it doesn't work, if we try it doesn't work, and it's really something important that you need to find, that's when you call my Aunt Chris. Because for some reason, this woman has a personal tie to St. Anthony, that when she pipes up for you, it's creepy. I'll tell you a story. Years ago, I'm wearing a different wedding ring today. I'm wearing like one of my little casual ones, but like my real one for my actual wedding. I was sitting at the Chaotic Training Center right now. I can tell you who I was sitting next to. I was sitting next to Nikki Rocks because we were watching a video, and we were sitting on the lounge. And I remember I had my arm up against the wall. I'll use this one because that's one on camera. And I was tapping, and I vividly remember tapping my ring against the wall because I remember the sound it was making.
Yeah.
That night, my daughter was very young. Went home, tucked her in. Next thing, can't find a wedding. Look at my car, like to the point where I'm tempted to take like my seats apart. I look everywhere, it's gone. Goes by. Like, I'm talking, and now my daughter, like 6, 8, maybe close to a year goes by, and my we were at a family event. I was talking to my Aunt Chris. I'm like, yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, this is my real ring. So we were talking about them. So what happened to yours? I said, I lost it ages ago. She goes, why didn't you call me? I said, I don't know. I just never thought of it. I tried the St. Anthony prayer. I said, okay, I'll do it for you. A couple days later, my daughter had a trundle bed at the time. We're cleaning the old linens out of the trundle bed. And as we're looking in there, now, I need to explain this. We had cleaned it out. Like, when you have kids, you change stuff out all the time.
Right.
Stuff had gone in and out of there. We're pulling some old linens out of there. And as I looked at it, I'm like, oh, wow, one of Nikki's little fake pieces of jewelry. Nope. Reach in. It's my ring. Sitting right there. Clean as day in the trundle bed. Shortly after we called Matt Chris. Matt Chris had a conversation.
She has the connection.
Because she had the connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think that might be in a time one, because my other crazy friend Lois that I mentioned, she's Italian and she does the St. Anthony prayer. What about you ever want to drive me nuts? When you do have me over for dinner, if you want to play a little fun game on Jamie, here's a little fun facts. When you set the table across the silverware, drives me crazy. I think I have literally, we'll be sitting there talking, and like we'll be talking about this. Oh my god, thank you so much for having us over for dinner. I really do appreciate it, and I will adjust people's silverware as I sit there talking to them.
Who crosses the silverware though?
But no, like even like if you just put it down sloppily, or a
Okay.
kid walks by, and it just gets bumped and it crisscrosses.
Okay.
Silverware cannot be crossed.
All right.
So you gotta undo those.
Okay.
My friend Lois, this happened to be the other day. I had to go to her house. Have you ever heard the one of whatever door you come in, you have to leave through the same door?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it.
Okay, so this one we've got you on. So you've heard this one.
I've heard this one.
Yeah.
Now, do you follow it at all?
No.
Okay.
We
don't either.
I don't think I follow
My
that.
family doesn't, but Lois, this is one of her big ones that you must exit through whatever door you come in. No matter how inconvenient it may be. Like, I helped her husband carry in a piece of furniture recently, in through the garage. Oh, now we go upstairs, now we have, blah, blah. I go to leave through. She said, no, you didn't come in that way. I'm like, but my car is like right, no. Out the front door. Oh yeah, gotta leave through the same door.
What happens if you don't?
Bad luck.
So it's
It
bad
all
luck
comes
if
down
you
to bad luck.
Yeah, all my-
versus, yeah.
Al, if you're looking for an answer on mine,
All right.
just assume.
Bad luck.
Bad
Bad luck.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that one, but I never followed it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start. to
Did
get
your
better luck.
family have superstitions like that kind of ran in the family?
I mean, no, not nothing really crazy like Jamie's family. Nothing like that.
Let me ask you a question, because I can see there's some stuff on your table over there.
Yeah.
Al, can you hand me a pair of scissors? A pair of scissors, I think. Can you hand me a pair?
Sure.
I can't take those.
Why not?
My family? Yeah, do you know this one?
Is it? But I thought it was knives.
Any bladed. Anything with a blade.
Anything, you gotta place it on the table.
Yes.
Really?
You gotta
you
place
put
it
it
on
down
the table.
first.
Because
Oh,
it'll
okay.
ruin the relationship.
Thank you. See,
Wait,
she
what?
knows this one. Sorry.
What
I
is
feel
it?
like a girl, it's
What's
okay.
a relationship? I don't get it.
No.
Yeah, it can ruin the friendship,
Yeah.
whatever relationship. I thought it was just
Really?
knives.
No.
Because, like, if you're at, like, a girlfriend's house and it's like, oh, hand me that knife, and you go to hand it, you have to put it on the table.
I
Yes.
never
Yeah.
heard that one before.
And Monique nailed it. Because if you hand me a bladed instrument,
It's like,
you're severing our
Yes.
relationship. You're severing our friendship.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Yeah, I honestly had never heard that before. Ever.
And that's when, again, I talk about my wife. She's English, Scottish, German. And so she didn't have a lot of these. But it's weird, like, from my family, which one she's absorbed. That blade one was never a big one for me.
Mhm.
That never bothered me. That's one of Cheryl's big ones now. Where if she says to me, hand me a knife, right? Put it down. Then she'll pick it up, yeah.
Wow.
that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. See, I never heard that one. No kidding.
I was going to the same door. Easy one. We all. Now, like I say this, like, oh yeah, we all do this one. Salt over the shoulder. If you
We were
spill
just
salt,
talking
we were just
about
talking
this.
about this one.
Yeah.
if you spill
Yeah.
salt, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No, why?
So when you spill salt, it's supposed to be bad luck.
Right.
You have to throw it over your left shoulder because the devil comes at you from behind. And
Okay.
usually it's to the left.
Really?
So that's why
it's
you
got
put
to
it
be the
over.
left shoulder.
Yeah.
I always learned it's right hand, left shoulder. Now that may be me just being
Mhm.
taking one extra, but no, I knew it was behind me, and it was
Mhm.
always.
On the left.
Because if you spill salt, it's always boom boom.
See, I didn't know it was over the left shoulder. I thought it was just so. Anytime I do it, I just do it over my right shoulder. So I probably get the devil on my back all the time.
That's right. He's just hanging out, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Dude, if you just rolled on the other shoulder, you wouldn't get rid of me.
I like how the devil's like.
I don't know. Yeah,
what
I
accent
have
is
very
that?
limited accents. Like I don't like Eddie Guerrero, Mamacita, you
Oh,
know,
there you go.
Latino
Okay.
heat. That's just what I went with. Which actually, the longer I go, I sound like because of Speedy. I am hungry. That's what I sound like.
I was just saying, are you
I sound like
your
Speedy Gonzalez's slow cousin.
Yes.
Speedy, I want some cheese. Well, Senor Pussycat, who doesn't have any. Oh man. But no, it's always so. If you ever come over our house for like dinner and I actually cook for you, like our floor's a little gravelly Because maybe you cook, it's like there's salt everywhere.
Well, do you know salt is huge in regards to superstition? Like, I'll use it, like, you sprinkle salt, like, if you put it over a doorway, because it protects you.
Correct.
So using salt protects you, and you spill the salt because it's protection. So then when you throw it behind you, it's because it's protecting you so the devil can't come at you from behind. But yeah, like, salt, huge, all different cultures. Yeah.
In my family especially, if you really feel like somebody's, and I keep using the word, giving you the malukis, that means somebody's giving you they've given you bad juju, they've given you evil eye, however you want to phrase it, bad luck. Yeah, salt's a big one. Yeah. One of the first things you'll do is you'll go get salt. You'll pour it around doorways. You're basically forming a barrier.
Yes, you're protecting yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing can come in, but usually you want to make sure you have good, clear energy first, because you don't want to trap shit in with you either.
See, now, I'm concerned now. I feel like you didn't come from a crazy family of Greeks like I did. Obviously, we came from, like, the crazy part of Greece. And you're like the normal ones.
See, I don't know if it was so much we were normal, because when my relatives would come over from Greece, I'd see some weird stuff. I feel like my mom and dad, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because they were working all the time and we never really got to see a lot of that stuff, and we didn't really go and hang out with our aunts and uncles and cousins unless it was like a holiday.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe that's why I didn't get so much of it. I don't know.
Did you ever see outside of the relative's door a knife stuck in the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means. But I have
seen. We have conflicting ones on this, because I remember, and according to my family, if you lose something, right, on the Greek, like the Greeks, they believe if you lose something, you stick a knife in the ground by the door where you come in.
Yeah.
And that's what's helping you bring it back.
Okay.
But then it starts to look like, I also think it's a variation of the bad luck, the forming a barrier, because I remember my grandparents, there was always a knife stuck in the door by their front porch. And I remember hearing this when I was younger and thinking, what the hell did they lose? And clearly the knife isn't working unless they lost a knife. And if that's the case, I know where it is.
Yeah.
By your front door.
Yeah.
You know. But I think it's like a mixed thing where it's like if you lose something or if it's like a level of protection. But yeah.
Don't mess with us, you'll get
I want to say,
yeah.
I want to say it. I saw it. I remember seeing it at my aunt's house. She had one in the ground like that, and I was wondering, like, why is there a steak knife in the ground?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. But okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
No birds in the house. Birds are bad luck.
I've heard this before, but I'm not super familiar with it.
Okay.
But I'm trying to see if I can.
Why are
remember.
birds bad luck? Why are they supposed to be bad? Is there like a story behind it?
Because they're birds and they're bad. I don't know.
Because
But no,
birds and they're
like
bad.
that was one, like my friend Lois, that's a big one. Like, because we were talking to them, I'm like, hey, on this podcast about superstitions. So what's wrong with, and I just let's go, what's wrong about birds? Oh, no, not birds. I go, what's wrong with birds? And our daughter Charlotte was there, like, oh no, we can't have birds in the house. I'm like, why? Oh, that's bad. Birds are evil.
Well, I thought, like, if a bird flew in the house, it was an omen that something bad was going to happen.
That could be it. Now, my daughter, she always, whenever we have crows in the backyard, she's like, is that a raven? No, it's not a raven. We live in the middle of the woods. It's a crow. Stop it. But then I kind of talked to my family and I'm like, hey, do you guys know about the birds one? And all three of them are like, oh yeah, birds in the house are bad. I'm like, why? They just are. Well, it doesn't help me. You're not giving me any information.
Yeah.
But I also remember growing up that, like, other parts of my family would think that if you were in the house and a bird came to the window, it was...
It's good luck depending on the color of the bird.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, if you have one that's blue, one that's red, it can be good. But it was the color of the bird.
Look at your husband right now, looking at both of us like we're crazy.
Do you remember, like, when the red cardinal would come up and I'd go off telling you, like, oh, it's good luck?
I always see the red cardinal.
Red cardinals, again, my wife and my family have shared with me, red cardinals are past relatives coming to visit.
I've heard that.
Yes.
I've heard different things. They're good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, what happens if a red cardinal comes in your house? Is it good luck or bad luck?
Yeah.
Or does dead Uncle Charlie just really hate you?
I've come to give you bad luck and...
See, I always have, like, when I'm outside, I had a bird for the longest time. I called her Stella.
Yep.
She would always come up and, like, she'd be on the back fence while I was working outside. She'd always come up and she'd, like, tweet to me. And I'd be like, oh, hi. And she'd just hang out. She'd have to come over and say hello. Like, we'd have our little thing. And then, like, we have little birds always like
Mhm.
coming up. It's like, and I've had like squirrels come up to me and everything. I'm like freaking Snow White, I guess.
Yeah, well, it would explain the voice and all that. That's all starting to come together now.
But yeah, so like birds, like I'm always.
But I remember, and I may have told you guys a story ages ago. I think when you were talking about the podcast, you kind of went down the awesome direction you guys have gone down. Is quick backstory. My father's 100% Polish. My father's an only child. I'm an only child. His mother, so my grandmother, just doted on me. She lived with us for a while, then they moved out into their own home again. Doted on me. She passed away very suddenly in my junior year. Just one of those, gone that day. Just done. Tapped out pretty quick. So the only funny part was that when I was at that age, when I was younger, my parents would travel a lot. So I would stay with my grandmother. And then there was my Aunt Chris, about whom I've spoke a few times. Well, she was younger. And she was kind of cool, so I used to love to hang out with my Aunt Chris and her boyfriends and whomever. Well, my grandmother hated my Aunt Chris. Hated her. Like not even, like, let's hear it. But seriously, I know she's listening right now. She'll admit it. She'll be like, yeah, I hated her. And if we called my Aunt Chris, she'd be like, oh yeah, she hated me. So my grandmother passes away. My grandfather is aging, can't live alone. He goes into a retirement and assisted living home. At the time, my Aunt Chris had just had her second daughter, so baby, so she had a toddler and a baby, fairly newly married. And it comes up, well, you know what would be great? We have this house that's now empty. You guys are a young married couple. Why don't you? And my father's like, look, just take the house, pay me off over time, whatever you can do. Oh, wow, really? So they go to walk through the house, and may lightning strike me dead. They're touring the house, and all of a sudden you hear banging from downstairs. What the hell is that? Everybody kind of scares. Everybody gets down there. There's nothing in the garage. There's no doors open. They start walking through the house, and I was not there, but then the story starts going. My aunt walks into one of the rooms. It might have been the family room. She's like, oh my God, this room would be great for, and starts about changing the room. And you start hearing the banging again. And they all just are like, yeah, we can't do this. And they all have to walk out. Because we are convinced. My grandmother's like, yeah, no, she's not buying my house.
She's like, get the fuck out of my
yeah,
house.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, because it's her house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anybody else? The new buyers never had a problem. Nobody ever had a problem. But it was because of Matt Chris.
Aww.
Absolutely. No, it was for the better. It was for the better.
Now, you told me a story about, is that the same grandma
Mm-hmm.
where you told me the story about the comic book?
Yeah. So, she got me started when I first started collecting comics. She would be the one that would drive me to, first with like this little 5 and dime in Andover. But then when I really started collecting comics, it was Chris's Comics in Salem, New Hampshire on 28. And my grandmother, and that was where I stored all of them. It was sort of thing that, I would go see her every few weeks. We'd go buy comic books together, and I would store them at her house. So after she passed away, I had to kind of box them all up. And we were going to put them in, my family had a business, we were going to put them in the warehouse. So I was downstairs sorting them. And my grandmother had a tumor on her ankle for years. She would always have to wrap it in gauze and ace bandages. Ironically, not like Hitler. But, so, hey, that worked out well. But no, so she would always do that. And there was one night where I was sorting comics. And I'll never forget, I went upstairs, for whatever reason, get food, probably at that age. Go back downstairs, and I went back downstairs, and on top of this pile of Batman comics, there was an ace bandage rolled up, just sitting there. That I swear was not, because why would there be a rolled up ace bandage on top of my Batman comics?
Right.
Yeah. But that's why I often, like in weird situations, as when I was younger, as neurotic as I can be, I never had a real sense of fear, because I knew she was there, and I knew she wouldn't. And then we named my daughter, her full name is Nikki Margaret Jo. So she's named after 3 of her 4 great-grandmothers. And between my father's mother, who, I'll tell you a great story about her, totally off topic, but she was the ultimate protector. And then you've got my crazy witch grandmother, the Greek one. She's named after both of them. So whether it's sickness, all this stuff, at the end of the day, I very rarely worry for my daughter, because I know she's got 2 really strong, like, guardian angels sitting on her shoulder, where I fully believe they would strike somebody dead before they allowed something to happen to Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
It makes me wonder, too, So I gotta ask now.
Yeah.
Does she ever have like these weird things happen, like where it just pops in her head, like, oh, I need to do this, and like she'll avoid an accident, like if she's driving or something, like the way things work out? Because a lot of times people will say, like, whether it's their spirit guides or their guardian angels, sometimes like they'll hear a voice in their head, like, you need to do this, like, get in another lane or do this or whatever, or like, don't walk down that road, whatever it might be, but it protected them from something happening. Has she ever experienced
She has not shared that with me because, Monique, my daughter has the survival skills of a scared chipmunk. Okay, not seriously. No. God, Lord God, I hope my grandma's like, keep an eye on her because this girl has no survival instinct on her own. I will tell you, though, the night she was born, I'm asleep in the little dad's chair in the hospital room.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's in the bed, and at the time, my grandmother and my wife's grandmother were both still alive. So the only one who had passed was my father's mother, Josephine. And to this day, my wife will swear that when they brought Nikki in at one point, as Cheryl kind of opened her eyes, a light came into the room, stopped by me, stayed with me for a second, went to Nikki, hung out over by Nikki for a minute, came back, stopped by me real quick, kissed goodbye, and then back out the door. And floated back out. And that was my grandmother Josephine. Absolutely. And that was when my wife knew, yeah, this kid's going to be okay. Yeah, they're not going to let anything happen to her. Yeah, my grandmother, like, if you were gonna like draw a picture of her, she was like your stereotypical like big Polish woman, and she used to carry that big ass purse that had everything from like $35 in coins to 6 rolls of Lifesavers. And there's a story where somebody tried to grab her once and tried to grab her purse, and she got the purse away. And do you ever hear the story about like when the guy tried to mug that MMA fighter in Rio and she beat the crap out of him? Yeah. Basically, security or other people showed up, and the guy was basically begging for mercy from my grandmother because she just got that thing going, and it was just one swing knocked him, and then it was just, well, at that point, he was down. It didn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Now he's helpless. Just get away.
Now I gotta ask: did she believe that if you put your purse on the ground, you're gonna lose your wealth?
No, but the one I got from my crazies today was, if you give anybody a purse or a wallet, you have to put a penny in it before you give it to them.
Oh, I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Because you can't give somebody an empty purse.
Okay.
A purse or wallet will always have money in it. If you give it to them empty, then in theory, you're going to allow that purse or wallet to be empty at some point, and that's not allowed.
Got it. Okay.
It's kind of nice too. Oh, here you
Yeah.
go. There's something.
There's a penny for
Yeah.
it.
Here's the
Penny for your thoughts.
But I haven't heard the purse on the ground one.
Okay.
I mean, they had some weird ones, you know. My family believes that, and this is another one, that elephants are bad luck.
Really?
Statues of
They're
elephants.
So cute.
Well, I don't think like real elephants. I suppose if you have a pet jumbo in your backyard, that might be it. But like, no.
So they're not walking by the zoo go.
No, but to the point where when I was a kid, I got really sick, really ill, and I guess I got really ill right after my mother had brought a statue of an elephant into our house. And I literally just found out today that when I was really not doing well and it was touch and go for a little while, my aunt and my mother, my aunt Chris and my mother, went back to the house, got the elephant statue, brought it to St. Teresa's Church in North Reading, found a priest, made him bless it, made him keep it. And then after that I came out of the coma and I was okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at Alex, he's like, what's happening here?
What is going on?
Yeah.
Wow.
So elephants are bad luck, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. I don't think we have any elephants.
Good, don't bring elephant statues in. No, they're bad luck.
We have to make sure if we have any to get rid of them.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we have the little puzzles with like the
Nope.
the elephant
That's okay.
picture. I'm like,
That's okay.
yeah, but like figurine type.
Right,
things.
figurine,
Okay,
statues,
good
none of
to
that
know.
stuff.
None of that.
All right. Wow. Okay. That's a new one. I never.
I'll send you a whole checklist of this stuff. Just,
Yeah.
it's like,
I'm like, what?
but then the only thing we started to realize was after like all these texts and calls days, I'm like, well, no wonder my whole family's so effed up. I mean, God, we have so many things to worry about on any given day.
Karen, like, they're awesome and I need to hang out with them.
Anytime, please. Yeah, my family.
I'm like, I'm going to bring some sage over.
Mhm.
We're going to do some cleansing and shall make some special herbal incenses.
We had one when I was at my mom's house, and we had our oldest was there, but he was like 2 at the time, and he was just crying and crying. You had left for something, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong, why he was crying.
There.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was going on and on for a while, and so my aunt came into the room. She's like, "Oh," and she starts telling me in Greek that I'm gonna ward off the evil eye, and I'm like, looking at him like, what are you talking about, the evil? What are you talking? He's just crying. He misses his mom. Whatever. He'll get over it. Just give him a little bit of time. It's okay. He's in a new environment. He's never really been here before. Whatever. She goes, no. She's telling me in Greek, I'm going to go ward off the evil eye. So she gets a bowl, and she gets some olive oil and some water. Have you heard this one?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
He's crying. He's going nuts. The minute she did that and started doing whatever she said in Greek, he stopped.
Yep.
And he was fine after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at him like, it's just coincidence. It has nothing to do with the thing. Come on, knock it off. And they're like, no, it's the evil eye. I got whatever was bothering him, it's gone now. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. But then, like, it's weird because the older I get, the more I'm like, maybe there is something to some of these things. I don't know.
You know, it's a variation of my wife has a fun saying that she talks about people that there wouldn't be stereotypes if people didn't live up to them. And I always like that one. But it's like a correlation on this. I have to believe that these superstitions, these legends, these weird things that we all do, they wouldn't have lasted this long if there wasn't some teeth to them. I mean, let's face it. We can take the easy one, knocking on wood, right? For whatever reason, whether it's you with, when you talk about putting energy out to the universe or self-manifestation, whatever it is, there's something to it that must work. Otherwise, it wouldn't still be around.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Yeah.
If birds flying into houses, okay, I'm sure this isn't just something where some crazy Greek lady thought this up one day.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably times when people say, holy crap, this happened. And there's probably, somewhere down there's a little nugget of veracity in it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, I wanted to look up a lot of common superstitions, like where it came from.
I thought you were giving me like a For the Pops pop quiz for a second. I started to sweat. I'm like, oh God, no, don't quiz me.
No, I like to do research. I wanted to look, some of the stuff I kind of sort of knew, but I didn't feel comfortable enough to this is why, this came about. I'd be stumbling a lot. So I looked up black cats because if a black cat crosses your path. I just want to put out there too, all the weird superstitions tend to be good luck for me. So Friday the 13th is typically a really good day for me.
Okay.
Black cats crossing my path. I love black cats. I never have an issue. I'm trying to think of other things. I can't think of them now, but usually the things a lot of people freak out over.
Broken mirrors, ladders.
Never an issue.
Okay.
Never an issue for me. Knock on wood. Didn't mean to do that on purpose. It's what I'm doing. So black cats. Cats actually used to be worshipped in ancient Egypt. They were a symbol of good luck. I remember something I read correctly, and I don't know when and where specifically in Egypt it was, but it was against the law to kill a cat, even accidentally. Yes. So they were worshipped. There was a cat goddess. There's a lot where they worship cats. Right. And so you go from cultures that worship cats to cultures that are afraid of it. So one of the things was witches. Blame it on the witches, right? So people used to believe that a black cat was associated with witches, be it the witch would turn herself into a black cat, or the black cat would be her familiar, meaning it was this demon that assisted her and would turn into a black cat, so they were afraid. So for a long time, black cats got a bad rap. But then I saw another thing. This came from India. I guess when they would use bulls to pull carts, if a black cat crossed the path of a bull, the bull would freak out.
Okay.
And it would take a long time for the driver of the cart to calm the bull down so they could continue to go. That makes more sense in terms of crossing your path.
Yeah.
But that's the information I could find on that.
All
So,
right.
yeah, I was like, ooh. Walking
under a ladder. I'm looking at your sheet. What is
Walking
that?
under a ladder. This is really interesting because it got me thinking about sacred geometry. So in ancient Egypt, when a ladder leaned against a building, it made the shape of a triangle. And the Egyptians considered this shape to be sacred. To them, the triangle represented the Trinity of God. And to pass through a triangle was to desecrate them. So, centuries later, the other issue was followers of Jesus related it to when he was on the crucifix and the ladder up against the crucifix, making it a symbol of wickedness. And so it also represented betrayal and death. And so to walk under that would bring one misfortune. So it's funny how you go from like, you have the Trinity of God and you don't want to desecrate that to Jesus was crucified, and because there was a ladder up against there, it's just like, wow. So,
when we talked about this cross silver earlier, I didn't mention it. Same thing. That what you're doing is you're creating a false cross, which ties back to Jesus' crucifixion.
Okay.
Breaking a mirror.
I mean, it makes sense now when you know. When you
I'm
say
just
it,
looking over at Al right now. We're not looking at Al's faces. Man, we should have talked wrestling or Batman. This is...
Oh, no, he loves this stuff.
I like this
He
stuff.
loves this stuff. Breaking a mirror actually stemmed from ancient Greece.
Really? No,
Okay, so
I'll take this one. No,
I know that.
Oh, you don't want to?
I'll take it, but I'll read it from your sheet, but I don't know it.
So do you remember the stories, like the old ancient Greek stories about the soothsayers?
Sure.
They use like mirrors.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what they would do is they would look into a mirror, or they'd have someone look into the mirror to kind of see like what's going on, be it with their health or whatever. So they'd look at the image, and if, like they dip like the mirror in water, and they'd make somebody look at it, and if the image was distorted, it meant that something bad was going to happen. They'd have bad health, they were going to die. But if their image wasn't distorted, everything was okay. So that was one of the things. So in terms of breaking the mirror, that would bring misfortune upon somebody, because it was basically like, this is telling you if you're going to live or die. Because back then, it wasn't much going on. You're either going to live or die.
Right.
But yeah, so also something that came in the 1st century AD, the Romans added a caveat to that superstition. At the time, it was believed that people's health changed every 7 years in these cycles, and we've heard that today. Like, allergies wait 7 years. Yeah.
Sure.
So, a distorted image resulting from a broken mirror therefore meant 7 years of ill health and misfortune rather than outright death. So
that's where we got 7 years of bad luck.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because it had to get out of that health cycle.
Interesting.
Huh.
All right, Jamie, for the Pops Pop quiz. No, I'm not going to do that to you.
Okay.
Number 13.
Yes.
What do you guys think why do people have such a bad feeling about the number 13?
For me, because Friday the 13th, the movie. Like, that was it. Like, that, for me. But I don't know why.
Wasn't it?
It's always been a negative.
I'm going to take a stab. Wasn't because doesn't it relate back to Jesus again?
That's one of them.
13th person.
Yes, Judas.
Judas was the 13th person
Oh, is that-
at the
oh,
Last
yeah.
Supper.
Okay,
There were 12
yeah.
apostles
Right.
plus Jesus, but that means Judas was number 13,
Mm-hmm.
and he betrayed Jesus.
Okay.
But you know that I read something that said it's also believed that it's possible he didn't actually betray Jesus.
Mhm.
Jesus wanted him to turn him in.
Correct, yeah.
Because he wanted to get out of this life so
Right.
he could move forward. So it's just really interesting. It's like, so did he really betray him or not? But Chinese and Egyptian cultures actually found the number 13 to be lucky.
Why?
Yeah, why?
It was just a number of good fortune.
I was all excited. I thought maybe you had a follow-up.
I don't.
I know.
But no,
I
it's
was
just like,
waiting
maybe I was
for the
like
kicker.
Egyptian or Chinese in a different life, and that's why 13 is a good number for me. I don't know.
All right.
But one common theory I came across was because 12 is apparently the most perfect number there is. You can't get any better than the number 12. So for 13 to be the number to have to follow it after,
Oh.
unlucky 13, you're following number 12. So it's kind of like you go on a talent show and you're ready to rock it. You're like, yeah, I got this. And the person on before you just stole the show. And you're like, fuck. Apparently that's 13 compared to 12. or any people who are into math. They call it, let me see if I can find it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fear number 13.
No, I was going to say, I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't. They called it, it begins with an S, like a superior number or something like that for 12. And then 13
I know the fear
followed.
number 13 is triskaidekaphobia.
Yes! I wasn't even going to try to
No.
learn it.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Jamie knows his phobias.
No, you know what it is? I'm like I'm silly to watch Jeopardy with because I have tons of useless information that's not good. Like
He's like Gus from Psych.
Yeah,
real life, I'm useless. But man, Jeopardy, I'm ready to go.
There you go.
Tremendous. Knocking on wood.
Yes.
This one, I guess, is hard to tie it back to. One of the things is just believe knocking loudly on wood is to drive out evil spirits.
Okay.
So it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, protection. We talked about spilling salt already.
Was there anything with spilling salt that we missed? Or did we cover
Let
most of it?
me see. No, we already went over everything pretty
All
much that I
protections.
had with
Okay.
that. Yeah. So that was some histories looking into like where these came from. I thought it'd be fun.
There was one that I came across on New Year's. First person in your house. Have you heard this one?
No.
It's a weird one. Like there are two pieces of it that I never knew this, but I guess on New Year's morning when you get up, you're never supposed to have bare feet. Because if you have bare feet, then you'll be basically it's a symbol of poverty. You'll be poor all year long. And then two, it makes a big difference whoever the first person is to walk into your house. They're going to be the harbinger of the rest of the year. And actually, I researched this one. And it's like multicultural. It's like there's a Greek component, there's a Italian component, but there's actually a big Norse component as well, where their belief was, most of them, in typical of these old traditions, they almost always wanted to be a male, to be the first one to come into your home. The Norse, it should be a tall blonde male. I think the Italians and Greeks, I think the phrase was it was supposed to be a hardy, dark-haired man. To come, you're like, ooh, this sounds good to me. It's a hardy, dark-haired man coming through my door on New
We
Year's
got
Day.
Alex come through the door.
Yeah, but and then there were variations on it that that first person, if the male comes in, you should have something prepared for him, a gift, a meal, a something to greet the good luck for the year, and in turn he should bring something into your home to bring the good luck for the whole year.
I'd never heard that before.
I was just thinking I'm fucked because I'm always barefoot. It's very rare that I'm not barefoot.
Well, I shared earlier, my parents actually live in Hawaii, and we spent a lot of New Year's out there. And I'm like, you're just telling me this now? I mean, I've been out there 30 years for New Year's days, and I always just come out, barefoot. I'm like, you couldn't have warned me?
Yeah, right? Jeez.
I could have, been Bill Gates by now if I just hadn't.
Right? Imagine.
If you just put socks on that day.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like, I've seen my family freak out about who's the first one in.
Really?
Yeah. And it doesn't count, so it doesn't count that if I stay in the house and I leave and come back, or if you're staying here, it's the first new person to come in your house on New Year's Day.
So if I were to show up to your parents' house on New Year's Day,
they're
they
not
would
opening
be
the
very
gate.
disappointed.
No, they're not going to open the gate for you. You're going to be like, "Hi, it's Monique. Yeah, no, wait, is Al with you? No, all right, just wait a little while. Somebody else will show."
Yeah, pretty much.
Just wait outside. The other 364 days a year, absolutely show up anytime. New Year's Day, wait by the gate.
Now, what if nobody comes over on New Year's Day? Then what?
Oh, then you're just a sad, pathetic loser who has no friends. So no, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Yeah, that's us.
We're
Yeah,
we're not socially. I got news for you.
Yeah.
Become less social as I get older.
Yeah, we want to move out to like the middle of nowhere.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. No neighbors.
No.
Found the perfect house
Yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere, Maine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Completely off the grid.
Mhm.
It's all solar powered. It even says in the house description, it's completely off grid. Like, this is my house.
It's awesome.
This is where I want to live.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I told you. I love when you guys do conspiracy shows because I am all in. I'm all in.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Maybe if we get that house, we'll give you the address.
That's fine.
We'll let you
That's
know
fine.
where it is.
We're not going to tell many
Nobody
people.
else.
Because you need somebody now and again to check on you. I'll
Sure.
pull in the Jamitkowski family helicopter. I'll just land out there checking on you.
So,
There you
a
go.
couple weeks ago, we were talking about New Hampshire's haunted legends.
Yes.
And we talked about I'm trying to remember them all. Goody.
Mhm.
Eunice Goody Cole.
Yeah.
And how nobody, like, they just go and, like, leave food at
Mhm.
her door. And, like, you know, they didn't really want to check on her. So it's like, you're going to come by. It's like, food's been on the porch for about a week now. They must be dead.
Yeah. Well, no, because now the other problem with that would be, and I think it's great, I'll come into the chopper, we'll land, and the problem is going to be, like, if I still see the food out there, remember, I'm also a little bit of a coward. So I'm like, okay, well, clearly they're dead, but I don't want to go in there.
They probably have booby trapped.
Hey, adult, come here. Here, you go first. You know? It's like, okay, it's like Indiana Jones. Asps, very dangerous. You go first. Yes.
Well, we were saying it's like we want to put like camouflage, so like we want our roof to have like grass on it, so if you're flying from above,
You couldn't
it
see
would
that.
blend
I think that's awesome. I'm completely on board with
I'd
this.
love to do that.
the things we want to do. But yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any other superstitions that you want to share with
You
us?
think I need more? I mean, I'm worried about driving home now.
I'll protect you.
Please do.
Don't worry.
Okay, give me a
bag.
give me a spritz of something
Yes.
on my way out the door.
Yes.
That's most of them. I mean, I think we've covered a lot of Jamie's crazy right now.
So
But are you the least bit impressed, though, Al, that I held it together
Yeah.
for so long? Like nobody really knows this that I'm this psychotic
Yeah, like you're
when it comes to this stuff.
I think
You're just
it's fun.
insane. I honestly, like, so many of these that you told me, I'd never even heard of. Like, well, okay.
And, like,
the red ribbon thing, I'd never heard that.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
God, that is like a number one.
Now I'm going to start carrying, I'm going to make sure everybody's got a
Like,
red ribbon.
my
That's how I'm
wife,
gonna start.
Every purse she has, anything we have, red ribbons are everywhere. And like I said, we have backup ones in our cars.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that now.
All right.
Because that's, I mean, it's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
And if there's anything to it, why wouldn't you do it?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. So I wanted to do something fun for
Okay.
us.
Fun.
I have celebrity superstitions.
Okay.
I thought you would get a kick out of this.
Boy.
Heidi Klum. Can you guys guess her superstition?
No.
Why do I feel like I know this one?
He's trying to cheat.
No, what is that?
Oh, we're giving you, there's like a
Do
quiz?
we get a clue?
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I was
A
just
quiz.
curious if you guys
Oh,
know. I'm going to ask if you don't know. I'll tell
I
you.
have no idea.
She carries her baby teeth around with her for good luck and to keep her out of harm's way.
Her own baby teeth?
Her own baby teeth.
Ew.
Okay. I don't know how that would...
Ew.
Pretty people are gross too. No.
All right.
It's your teeth. Who cares? It's calcium. It's bone. Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
She has a certain ritual she does.
Don't know.
Don't know?
Not a clue.
She always has to walk onto a plane with her right foot first and tap the outside of the plane. She says it's for good luck.
I tap the outside of every plane I get onto.
How do you? Oh, because when you.
Yeah, we're
the
doing
thing,
German,
it's okay. Because I'm like.
No, when it's on the ground, Monique, just...
No, because like when you walk in, you have the little thing. But that's right. That's technically the
Yeah,
outside.
I always do that.
It's funny. Look, you two have something in common.
Yeah.
Anytime I would fly, I would always have to get the window seat, and when as soon as we take off, I would always have to look out, and wherever I'm flying out of, I'd say, okay, goodbye Manchester, or goodbye
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, or I would always have to say it out loud audibly, and I'd do like a little wave as
Nice.
I'm looking up. That was my little superstition.
I do this weird
Thing.
thing. Anytime I see a plane flying over, I always say like fly safe, land safe. Like I put that positive
Really? That's
energy
awesome.
because I don't want anything to happen to the planes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to. It's like I also when I'm driving, am so like trying to be prepared for anything that if there is a plane, like okay, if this plane were to come down and crash by me, how can I get out of the way so I don't get killed? That's like we're sharing crazy right now. So
Well, I told you at the beginning, that's my problem, is trying to figure out where my superstitions end and where my neuroses begin.
oh, that's
It's a
total
fine line,
neuroses
yeah.
with the plane.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, but like superstitions, like I think part of it's like just wanting to put out that
I get
positive energy because I want to protect them into protecting. This is about your girl T Swift,
Okay. tell
Taylor
us-
Swift.
Oh, boy.
Can you
T. Swift.
guess what her superstition is?
No, I can't.
Well, she has said, quote unquote, I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in 13 weeks. My first #1 song had a 13-second intro, she said. Every time I've won an award, I've been seated in either the 13th seat, the 13th row, the 13th section, or row M, which is the 13th letter.
Interesting.
So her lucky number is 13.
Now that you said it, that's one of those things where you said, I'm like, that's right, I have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before, but that's pretty interesting, if it's true.
She must have been Egyptian or Chinese as well in a past life. Because we're down with the number 13.
13.
Axl Rose.
I can't wait for this. What is this?
Dude.
Axl Rose refuses to perform in cities beginning with the letter M, believing them to be cursed.
What?
Which is funny, because if we just go back to Taylor Swift, the letter M is the 13th letter. Could that have anything to do with it?
So poor Minneapolis, never saw it.
Guess not.
Minneapolis, Mobile,
No paradise city for them.
Manchester. Never coming to Manchester.
Damn it.
Okay, you guys might know this. Wade Box.
Hold on, let me think.
Ryan Malone's going to be so mad at me if I don't remember this one.
Oh, jeez. I'm sure I used to.
Oh, no. Yeah, it wasn't Wade Boggs fried chicken before every game.
It was fried
Ate
chicken.
an entire
Yeah.
whole chicken,
Yeah, fried chicken.
before a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was in an episode of Psych. too.
Yeah.
I had to get there. I'm like, fried chicken, yeah.
And then the last one I had is Michael Jordan, but you already brought that up.
Like the
Yeah.
North Carolina shorts.
Okay, so I also looked up some other superstitions just to see if we talked about it or not. Greek superstition. Don't give perfume to anyone. It could ruin a relationship. Have you heard that?
No, but it explains a lot when I gave Cheryl Chanel number 5 for all those years. Just makes a lot more sense now.
Aw.
No. I haven't heard that one.
I never heard that.
Leap year weddings are bad luck.
Really?
Really? Like the whole year?
No, if you get married like during a leap year on leap day.
On leap day.
Sorry, leap
Okay.
day weddings, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you get married on leap day, that's supposed to be bad
Okay.
luck.
See, I had heard, though, that, I really should remember this, that there's a certain month where weddings are bad luck.
A whole month?
Is it May?
No, is it something with if there's not a certain letter in the alphabet?
I don't remember, but this was one of them. Either Lois or my family, they talked about how somebody was all upset. I want to say it was the month of May, that Lois's sister-in-law was going to get married that month, and the grandmother went banana that you can't get married in May. Yeah.
One of those popular wedding months.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. If two Greeks speak the same thing at the same time, they must touch something red to avoid getting into a fight.
That one I knew. That one I
And
knew.
you got your ribbon right there,
That's
so you
right,
can
I
always
remember.
go to it.
Yeah.
I never heard that before. Wow. Okay.
So here are some Polish superstitions.
Oh, boy.
When getting out of
Don't
bed,
open the submarine door while it's so quiet. I'm sorry.
That was good.
I love Polish jokes.
I haven't heard that one in so
Yeah.
That
long.
was good.
Like, what was the world's greatest Polish invention? The ejector seat on the helicopter. I'm half Polish. I'm allowed. It's okay. Sorry, continue. Polish superstitions.
When getting out of bed, place your right foot on the floor first, or your day will be a disaster.
Okay.
If you pass a nut on the street, you must find a... As Jamie spits out his water. If you
Sounds like the setup to every joke I know.
No. Well, I was reading this.
So a
like,
Polish
this
guy's
is
passing
a
it
show.
on.
If you pass a nut on the street, you must find a man wearing glasses and look at him. If there are no men with glasses, you will have a bad day.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, okay. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
Let's see. There is a very typical bird in Poland that is called a stork or a bocian. Bocian, maybe? B-O-C-I-A-N. If you're in Poland and you see one of those birds flying or standing in its nest, you will have good luck. If you see it standing on the ground, you can expect something bad to happen to you.
Okay.
And then I wanted to bring in some French superstitions
Wow.
because we don't have any. If you go to place bread on the table and you put it upside down, then that's apparently bad luck.
It will invite famine to
Yes,
your
it'll
household?
invite famine to
Wow,
your
okay.
household. Yeah.
Interesting.
If you're moving into a new house, bring the table in first, and that's supposed to help bring in good luck.
There was a variation that I heard today that when you move into a new house, you have to put eggs, broom, and salt. Eggs, a broom, and salt into the house first.
That kind of makes sense.
But it's another one of those weird things where we talk about culture,
yeah.
where there tend to be superstitions based around a new home and what you have to do to either.
But it's funny because some of it almost stems around like witchcraft and
Mm-hmm.
like, Wiccan and pagan culture. So it's just kind of like it comes from somewhere, and if it's common, like pretty common,
Yeah.
and there's just variations.
So what was the French
What
word
does
again?
that say? So if you're moving into a new house, bring the table in first.
Table in first.
So bring in the table with the
With
broom,
the-
with the
with
salt,
eggs
and
and
the
the
eggs
eggs. Exactly,
in.
yeah.
That's all. You're covered.
So the eggs and the salt fall off the table, you got the broom to clean it up, and you're all set.
Exactly.
Boom.
Just use your right foot first.
French believe horseshoes should be hung upside down. So instead of like the U facing up, upside down so the luck can pour down on you.
Oh, because I've always heard the opposite.
Yeah,
You hang it
well,
right side up so the luck stays in.
It's different culture. So
All
this
right.
one is so it pours down on you. Mm-hmm. I love
You take it off the horse first now. Just
I
so we're
figured.
Just,
Yeah.
I figured.
you know.
I'm gonna cut off the leg. Just take the whole horse off, you know?
Why is there a horse hanging upside down against the wall? Hey, Johnny, what the hell is that?
I love this superstition. If a woman sees an owl during her pregnancy, she will have a girl.
My family had a whole list of pregnancy ones I wasn't even going to bring to the table tonight. Things about like holding a string over the belly, and
Yep.
if it goes this
Oh,
way,
like
it's a
you do
girl.
a ring, yeah?
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazies.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. I just thought that was funny. I'm like, I never saw an owl when I was pregnant. That's why we have all boys, apparently.
Must be.
Must be because
I'm
I
gonna-
didn't see an owl.
I'm going to show if she saw any owls when she was pregnant with Nikki.
Oh, yeah.
Ask her.
But then if the owl comes in the house, then it's bad luck. And
It doesn't
yeah.
count.
She's
It's
birds.
bad. I know. Ruin everything.
Yeah.
Except when they're good luck.
Then a nun comes to the door. You got to find a guy with glasses. It's
Here's
awful.
my
If you
Here.
ever get bored, look up birds aren't real.
Oh my god,
Blow your
yes.
mind.
Okay.
You
All
need
right.
to,
It's
yes.
awesome. It's tremendous.
This one I thought was interesting, and I'm still quite trying to grasp it, this one. Never light a cigarette from a candle, as it will cause a sailor to die, or at least lose their job.
Oh.
Wah, wah.
All right.
So those are some fun superstitions.
Interesting.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why I like that one so much.
You're like, I don't even smoke, but I'm gonna go buy a pack of Marlboros, and I'm gonna light that cigarette from a candle tonight, damn it.
I just picture like something here's Skippy on the barge. Oh god damn it, another one.
She's gonna go light a
Listen to the
cigarette from a
cigarette
candle, and it's gonna be on the news tomorrow
I
morning,
know,
some
really.
Navy ship sink,
Yeah, really. Jeez.
or like the Pentagon cut naval jobs or something. He's like, damn it, it's true.
But you just said it. Lord knows I'm not a seafaring fella, and I don't know. But no, like there were like an entire separate like for
Oh,
ships
yeah.
and stuff. Like
oh yeah.
I remember like there's one where if you're on a boat, you're not allowed to talk about anything pig related. Hogs, pork. It's supposedly
Really?
bad luck. Oh, there's all kinds of.
Huh.
Well, I know pirates used to think women were bad luck to be on the ship, so they wouldn't want women on the ship because it was considered bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why.
There's nothing.
It's probably true.
Nothing. I was gonna say there's nothing appropriate in 2020 I can say except for
I can say it because I'm a woman,
can.
so
Yeah.
But yeah,
There you go.
there you have it.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say this has been a pretty fun show. I've learned quite a bit.
I was gonna feel really good now. We're just gonna be as crazy as the rest of us starting tomorrow with red ribbons.
I'm
no
probably going to
elephants.
start getting crazy, especially with
You
the
know.
red ribbons, for sure.
I learned over this past year to embrace my crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you try so hard because it's like, I grew up in, like, anytime I put myself out there, like, oh, I believe this and I believe
Mhm.
this, you get made fun of. People, like,
Mhm.
they put you down and they laugh at you.
Yeah.
It's probably because they're just insecure or they don't know anything about it. But it's like, so you try to hide yourself away. You're
Yeah.
like, I need to hide my crazy.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to hide my crazy
Yeah.
anymore. This is my crazy. This is who I am. And I don't care if you like it or not.
Right.
Because you don't have to deal with it. I do. And
No.
I like it.
I think it's an epiphany moment that comes in many people's as we get older. And there's a great line from the TV show Modern Family where they talk about how you spend so many years trying to fit in, and then all of a sudden one day there's a switch where everybody wants to be different, and that's where we win, because truly, like, there comes a day where you have an epiphany of, you know what, you don't have to be like everybody else anymore, and like you said, embrace your crazy. And
Which works great because I never fit in. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to fit no matter how hard I try. So I'm going to stop trying and worrying about it.
yeah,
That's the way to be.
Yeah. So if you have superstitions out there, you have your own brand of crazy, own it. Enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Don't be
Well,
ashamed.
Yeah.
See positivity.
Right.
Tie a red ribbon and you're good to go.
Yes.
That's All right. Well,
This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
I'm
you
glad
for
we finally got
coming on.
together.
yeah,
You know, we'll have to,
absolutely.
you know,
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like I said, I learned a lot that I
See, fun and educational.
Yes.
and educational. Yeah. So, well, we like we always close every show. If you out there have any superstitions that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you.
But don't do it on Instagram right now because apparently we're being punished for some unknown reason and they're restricting us.
The censorship is real.
It is. Apparently they didn't like what I was liking.
You must have done something really, really wrong,
I have no
or
idea
posted
what I
something
did.
really, really bad. I'm not on social media, so I don't know, but whatever. So, if anybody wants to reach us on social media, we have a Twitter,
At Homewrecker Pod.
Instagram, if we ever are allowed back on there,
Homewrecker Podcast.
and we have a Parler account too.
At Homewrecker Pod.
And you can always go to homewreckerpodcast.com, our website, and check us out there.
And watch us on YouTube or Brighteon.
Yes, and if you haven't already, subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and please leave us a 5-star review if you don't mind.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Jamie, do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, what do you got?
I have nothing to plug. I do nothing now. I'm on all social media. I'm at Jamie J UCW. That's
Do you
just weird.
want to plug any friends or family members?
No, I don't like them that much. No,
There you
no, we're fine.
All right then.
No, seriously, I'm gonna go back to my little cave now and disappear for another 6 months. It'll be fun.
Perfect. All right then. Well, until next time, I have been, and
You have been?
Wait, have been.
I haven't been. Wait, I'm confused.
Who are you?
I don't know. Oh God.
Where am I?
All right. Until next time, I am the Golden Greek Alex Area, and I've been joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife.
And our pal, Jamie Jamitkowski, former owner of Chaotic Wrestling.
Yes, and the reason that you and I are together.
Yes, this is true.
Without you, there'd be no us. So thank you again.
No, thank you, and you're welcome.
There'd be no golden unity.
There it is. All right. Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker Podcast.